Well, you clicked the button that said Winging It, and this is, in fact, Winging It. The somewhat whimsical, certainly whirring, decidedly wonky, seldom weighty, endlessly well-intentioned, and wildly witty show about music, where one of us knows what's coming and the other doesn't. Now, this particular show happens in between both proper to ensure that you can spend anywhere from 15 to about 180-plus minutes with us every week. And this time I picked something kind of weird, but kind of fun. I had a couple of ideas, but just songs with some sort of a theme, right? There's a theme to every song. Some have many. This particular theme is a little salacious, a little sexy, but not as you might be thinking. Are you ready, David?
I'm ready, and the tender ears of youngsters out there, parents, do your due diligence to ensure that this is not inappropriate for them. That's all. But I'm ready.
It's totally fucking inappropriate. Yeah. So this is some of the top songs about one-night stands.
Oh, yeah, there are plenty of those. One immediately springs to mind. We'll see if it's on the list.
All right, interesting. So hang on to that. And there are so many, so I'm just going to be covering a few because we don't have all day or all night at this moment. We might in the future. But I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you think of them along the way. So I'm looking for a visceral response to Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow by the Shirelles. Did you know that was a one-night stand song?
Absolutely.
Other older folks may not want to admit it, but this 1960 R&B chart topper shows that hookups were happening back then, too.
Well, actually, I've always taken it as, when I'm trying to review the lyric in my mind, I'm thinking it's she's known him for a while, but actually, no, that isn't clear at all, really.
Well, it describes a young woman who's facing a night of passion but has doubts whether the promises spoken in the dark will represent the next morning's regrets.
I never took it that way. It's interesting. I never took it as being about that. I thought it was just the usual, boyfriend situation. Like he wasn't just somebody she just met, but it certainly could be that way. And
it's interesting about one night stands because people, take a stand on one night stands. Either they're super hot and they're amazing, or they're like, oh, I'm not sure about people who do that. I don't care either way. Do you, if that's your deal? But I think it's interesting how many songs there are about one-night stands because clearly it's something that happens a lot. Clearly.
Yeah, in fact, there are so many that more of them are popping into my head every moment.
You best be writing those down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I gotta scramble. I gotta write these things down here.
Well, I'm going to move on to the next song, which may or may not surprise you, and it's "Get Lucky" by Daft Punk. Get Lucky.
See, I totally missed that whole generation.
Did you?
Yeah, Daft Punk. I've seen them. That's about it.
So, Get Lucky by Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams and Nile Rodgers, 2013 disco throwback tune, was a huge hit, and it was about people connecting with one another, lovers feeling a magnetic sexual attraction that lasts well into the next morning. She's up all night to the sun. I'm up all night to get some. She's up all night for good fun. I'm up all night to get lucky.
Oh, wow.
So, pretty hot song, pretty fun song. Another one is You Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC. Did you know that was a one-night stand song?
It wasn't explicit. I mean, I know it backward. I know that idiotic lyric backwards and forwards.
I was going to say.
But I never really thought of it that way, but that's interesting.
Well, this is at least spinditties.com. It's their point of view. And it says it describes a man's thrilling sexual encounter. Well, some people disagree over the exact meaning. They think it's about a brief humdinger of a tryst with a gorgeous woman. That's what they think. So that's interesting. What about We've Got Tonight? Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band?
Who Needs Tomorrow?
That's right.
Yeah, that seems implied.
I mean, I don't know. A despondent, life-weary man has been unsuccessfully searching for love. He approaches a woman who seems to similarly need affection. Although he knows their time together will be short-lived, he attempts to persuade her to jump in the sack, and they can provide each other mutual comfort.
Wow.
My goodness. Now that you hear these, all of a sudden you're like, it's pretty hot songs. A little kind of like, oh, my. There's a lot more. There's many, many more. Let's take a look here. What about... See, I can't do the country songs. I don't find them sexy. So I'm sorry, folks.
That means you're totally going to skim over Dusty Springfield / Juice Newton, Angel of the Morning.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, okay.
So we have Little Red Corvette by Prince. Now, I've always thought this was a super sexy song. But it says the narrator is somewhat intimidated by his partner for the night. He compares a beautiful and promiscuous woman to a showy, high-end luxury car one that's built well yet needs to be valued if it's going to last. So I've always got that. But, Prince is always singing about sexy things.
Yeah, honestly, it's lamentable. The reference to used condoms is not fun, But apart from that, yes.
He expresses concern for her preference for casual sex. You're much too fast. You need a love that's going to last.
No argument there.
I mean, there it is. And then this is a weird one, but all I want to do is make love to you by heart.
Oh, it is absolutely explicitly one night stand. It's just like, my guy can't get me pregnant. You,
that's
how about
right.
you?
That's exactly it.
That's one of those songs where it's like, I know this is going to be a one night stand, and that's the way I want it to be.
And I'm hoping that I become pregnant from this tryst.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
That's right. The man recognizes
Usually that's
them.
an unfortunate side effect.
That's right. So yeah, I like the whole thing. Like they run into each other, and the man recognizes him. She launches into an awkward explanation for why she took advantage of him rather than pursue another option for having a baby. It's creepy. It's weird. And it's kind of a weird, fucked up one-night stand. It's not like your straight-up one-night stand. She wants to get prego,
Yeah, and of course, obviously, he doesn't know this.
That's correct.
She's not like saying, look, you want to do me. I'm looking for a baby out of this. I'm never going to bother you about it, though.
That's right.
A lot of guys would take her up on that.
That's exactly right.
She could have been forthcoming about it,
I agree.
No pun intended.
Okay, so here's some other ones. So Take Me Home Tonight.
Oh, Eddie Money.
I mean, come on.
Just like Ronnie says.
Home tonight.
Right, nice one.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Hey, how you doing? Take me home tonight. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty obvious. I think that's right there. Now, interesting. Save a Prayer, Duran Duran.
You see, I love Duran Duran, but I'm
too.
not familiar with that song. Are you?
Oh, yeah. But I didn't know.
Save a Prayer. Probably if I heard it, I would know.
You would know it.
Yeah.
But I didn't take this particular song as a song about a one-night stand, although if you're thinking about it as, sex or this one-night stand as being a prayer or being that moment, the thing you want, perhaps. But I would not have thought of that. But I will go back and listen. But I will bring it up. I will bring up your song. I mean, well, we will in a moment, but what about
Elton John's Your Song? That's not about
no,
a one-night stand.
No, fuck you.
That never struck me as a one-night stand song.
Darling Nikki is certainly a one-night stand song.
Okay. Prince coming up again.
Prince coming up. Well, there's a shocker there. I mean, come on. Prince talking about the one she left a note.
Yeah.
Call me up whenever you want to grind. I mean, there it is.
Darling Nikki.
There it is. Now, interesting. Goodbye Stranger.
Hell yeah, that's on my list, babe, right here.
Supertramp. Talk to me.
Well, it is clearly, it's laid out extremely explicitly. It's saying, look, this was never meant to be anything,
That's right.
I wish you well. Hope you find your paradise, It's been nice, it's that's it. Early Morning Lover, Must Be Moving On. It's so clear. Every single line of this song has a really cool vocal.
It
is.
And
the piano work is nice, and the harmonies. Me personally, I'm fine with this song. I like it.
I love this song. And I love Supertramp.
Yeah, Supertramp is excellent.
I'm a huge Supertramp fan. But yeah, I definitely think it's one of those songs. If you listen to it, you're like, oh.
I mean,
and I love
it's
the
a
title.
Stranger. It's right there in the title. It's a stranger.
Goodbye Stranger.
There are other songs that it's like, okay, this might have been a relationship, but that after that night, it might be over.
Exactly.
Like another song that I probably shouldn't mention this early, but Goodbye Stranger, however, is entirely different. They're strangers because they tell you right up front.
Right, and he's saying goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye, stranger.
Bye, thank you.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to bring up a song you don't like, but I have to bring it up because it
course.
makes sense. This is Lola, the Kinks. Yep. I mean, we can't deny what this is about, right? I mean, it's got many themes, obviously, but it's certainly about, I believe, a one-night stand. Is that what you get from it as well?
They meet in a club.
I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear they meet in a club. Now, if I never heard that song again, it'd be too soon.
Way too soon. Same as Layla. However, the song does have a sequel.
Layla and Lola's. You're done.
Layla and Lola, out of the question.
You're not
Lola
having
does
it.
have a sequel, which Doesn't necessarily suggest the relationship lasts any longer. However, there is a sequel called Destroyer.
Oh.
And, there is a sequel to Lola. It was,
I did not know that.
Oh, it was like 25 years, or like, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 years later. But, Destroyer by the Kinks. It even seems to suggest that he doesn't even get it on with Lola because he's too fucked up in the head, So, have to play it for you sometime,
Absolutely. I want to hear that. Now, Dirty Diana, Michael Jackson.
Totally went over my head.
Okay, now I understand that Dirty Diana is somebody who wants to have a one-night stand with a rock star, but I did not know he
the
actually
narrator?
did.
Yeah,
yes, I did not. I've missed the fact. Now, this is a song I want to cover.
According to the song, the rock star narrator did have a one-night stand with Diana. Is that what it says?
I didn't get that. I got that she wanted him, but I didn't get that it actually happened. Like, for example, in Billie Jean.
So I was going to say, she got luckier than Billie Jean.
Yeah, I was going to say, they had sex because the kid is not his, right? But in this one, I didn't get that.
I've always taken Billie Jean as to be, she's not my lover. I never did it with Billie Jean.
See, I definitely think that he's saying that, but the kid is not mine. Which leads me to, well, of course the kid isn't yours if you guys didn't have sex, but because you're denying that the kid's yours, I think maybe you did have sex and you're saying you're plausible deniability. I don't know. I know he said was not the lover, but I kind of feel like they still were.
Even though he does concede that the eyes are like his.
Yeah, I'm like, ooh.
No, I've always been convinced that he had no relations with Billie Jean whatsoever, so the kid couldn't possibly be his son.
I think he did.
Of course, he could just know the kid's not his son because of the timeline.
That's exactly right. Well, and
that's usually a dead giveaway.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. But Dirty Diana, I thought he just talked about it and how lethal she was and that he wouldn't get involved. So now I'm going to have to go back and listen to that. But I love that song.
Me too, because I'm not familiar with the lyric at all.
Oh, my God. I love that song. It's a great one. So, The Four Seasons, December 1963. What a night.
What a night, What a lady, what a night.
That's right, exactly. That one, I think, is right out there.
I never even knew her name, he sings.
I mean, do you have to? I mean...
now, I'm waiting. I'm trying to think of if I ever read Sex and... Or did he just see her and he'll never forget her? Or did anything happen between them? I'm not sure I got that.
I got that something happened between them.
I mean, he got a funny feeling when she walked in the room.
Right.
That's true.
But that's not all that happened. I don't think he just went, oh, that was interesting, and moved on with his life. I think he...
But it ended much too soon, but he probably got past the night anyway.
Yeah, I think it may have ended too soon, but I think he got what he wanted. That's what I think. But again, this is all debatable.
Unlike Goodbye Stranger.
Yeah, bye, goodbye, get out. What about Do You Think I'm Sexy? Rod Stewart.
How did I not think of that? That is perfect. That's exactly what... Two total strangers, but that's not what they're thinking. He lays it right out there. There's no question. I mean, from the narrative from the beginning that they're strangers.
That's
but then
exactly right.
He spells it out at the end. And, they obviously spent the night together.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, that song will always be sexy to me. I know a lot of people are like, I mean, if I see the whole video, it's so wrong, but it is so right. That sexy, gravelly thing, I can't.
I swear, I don't know how they ever got away. It's one of the greatest artistic crimes in history that his first Greatest Hits album has him wearing that horrendous jacket. You ever seen it? The pink
Yes.
packet. It's the ugliest, shittiest looking thing ever.
It is the ugliest thing. I know.
The whole thing is a train wreck.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
There was a lot of fashion faux pas back then. I don't want to lie to you. So many. Other ones. Another Town, Another Train.
By ABBA. Totally missed it.
Okay, I will have to go back and listen to it, but I believe that's kind of what I thought. Another Town, Another Train. Kind of, if they had it, like if it was another town or another train, they wouldn't have met and it wouldn't have happened and blah, blah, blah. I kind of got that, but I thought maybe I was wrong. Apparently, I don't believe I was wrong. What about Memory Motel?
You're just a memory. The Stones in their country ballad mode. I love that album, Black and Blue, that transitional album there, but I never quite understood the passion. Well, that song is okay. Never understood that Fool to Cry. I hate that song. But, sorry.
Fucking brutal.
Memory Motel, I never, let me think. Was it a one-night stand, though? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the fence with
it's
that
It's probably
one.
right. It's whenever there's a reference to,
a
I'll never
motel.
forget that time. That's usually
Remember
what it
that
was.
one time?
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, it's like "Oh What a Night," basically, only by the Stones.
That's exactly right. Other ones that I'm not sure. I guess it makes sense. "Stay the Night" by Chicago. Definitely, I think, a one-night stand song. Although, again, that was the time that Chicago was putting out songs I did not care for.
And you don't want to seek whatever therapy is necessary to erase the image of that video from your mind, where they're driving along on the police cars, the police motorcycles singing that song. Please don't ever watch that.
Absolutely.
Not even have morbid curiosity.
Please don't.
Yeah.
This one is interesting. Now, I think that people might be putting some meaning into songs, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
they
Joan
do
Jett,
that. Yeah, they do that.
Well, maybe Joan Jett would tell me I was wrong, but I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I guess they're saying another dime is let's maybe take another ride.
Well, I mean, next he was moving on and he was with me. I mean, it's Can I Take You Home? I mean,
I don't know.
Names are not even exchanged here.
That's true.
I mean, that don't matter, he said, because it's all the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I take you home? I don't care what your name is. I just want to bang you.
Yeah, let's get her done. So yeah, maybe I think when I first heard that song, I might have been too young to get that. But yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, shit, it's not about rock and roll at all, right? It's about sex.
Yeah, I mean, the rock and roll is named, but the sex is the object of the song.
That's exactly right. Well, I think there are so many more. For example, some things I'm just going to throw out. Like
I was going to say, you can have rock and roll anytime, but you don't have sex all the time. Or if you're me, you never have sex ever.
Oh God!
Like for 40 years,
It's not been 40 years, I'm sure. All right, so there are some other ones that you may or may not know, but one you certainly know is Royal Orleans.
Yeah, Zeppelin songs. Back in the day, it was almost impossible for you to know the lyrics unless it came with them, which they usually didn't. Nowadays, you can look them up and you go, "Oh shit, that's what it's about."
That's what it's about.
It mentions Barry White. What the hell,
Exactly.
But yeah. Well, certainly not. That's not Led Zeppelin's only song about one night stands.
No, it's certainly not, and I'm sure they
the Wanton song kind of wears its heart on its sleeve with the title.
Yes, I agree. One of the ones that is not on here that I think is kind of unfortunate is Afternoon Delight. Like, I feel like, either that is a one-night stand or that's people in a relationship having it. I'm not sure. What are your thoughts?
I always thought I remember that era when that song was out very well. I was in high school. I remember that being a relationship song. I thought of it as a relationship song always, yeah.
I don't know. I always thought, well, a little Afternoon Delight. I guess, it could be. But again, my interpretation was very different when I first heard it. I thought, "Oh, a little Afternoon Delight, huh?" Instead of
she could just be the narrators could just be walking along and say, "Hey, how about you?"
Yeah, hey baby, a little Afternoon Delight. But what were the ones that you came up with?
Well, I think one classic one I said song is "Help Me Make It Through the Night."
Oh,
right,
nice, yes.
It seems like okay. I just need a friend tonight.
That's right, just tonight.
And we've got tonight. We mentioned that already. But Angel of the Morning, Touch Me in the Morning, of course, and the ugliest. When you talk about rock stars and groupies and stuff, those are all one night stand songs, and there are lots of them. Stray Cat Blues. Hello,
come on.
We talked about that a while. But there's another ugly one night stand song. Is Faces, Stay With Me. In the morning, don't say you love me, or because I'll only kick you out the door.
Woo.
Yeah, just like, yeah, I'll pay your cab fare. You can even wear my best cologne. Just don't be here in the morning when I wake up.
Oof.
Yeah, so that's a one night stand song if ever there was one. It's one you'd probably like to forget.
Yes, that's a one night stand. You're like, yeah, I never will feel good about that one.
No.
But yeah, and the Juice Newton one, I will tell you again, I heard that song when I was a kid. I never knew what it was about. I never even thought about it.
No.
My goodness. I thought this was this kind of angelic, sweet song, and it's not. You mentioned some pretty specific lyrics that I sang it blindly, apparently.
Yeah.
As a kid, just singing it. Just touch my cheek before you leave it. Oh, that's so sweet. Not so sweet.
If Morning's Echo says we sinned, well, it was what I wanted. Picture a kid singing that.
Yeah, I know I sang that, but I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I don't understand. You just touched your cheek. Why is that a sin? I don't get it.
And rock stars must have a million of these groupie songs, but they're almost innumerable. Kiss probably could fill up.
Oh my God!
You know, a box set of groupie songs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, they could. The only other one that I thought was very interesting, and I love it. It's one of my favorite songs, but "Beautiful Stranger" by Madonna.
Oh, you know, now that you mention it, yeah, that didn't come to mind. I'm loosely familiar with that. I think that is what it's about, right? I mean,
yeah, that is what it's about. Absolutely. A couple other ones that kind of came up, and they're a little bit of country ones, but "Last Name" by Carrie Underwood. It's a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Jose Cuervo kind of, you know, blamed sort of a thing, and then Reba McEntire. She thinks his name was John.
Ah, wow.
I think his name was John. Ooh.
Well. Let me. The real question is, did he pay you? Because then his name was John.
Woo! That's some brutal shit. Well, anyway, there's a million more that we could talk about, but those were just a few that kind of came to mind, and I'm glad you had a list of yours, and I know there are so many more out there. Actually, I just took some of those from a list of 101. So there are just tons of them out there, and these are just the ones that came to mind for this particular site. But there are so many more, and now I can assure you I'm going to read into lyrics quite a bit more than I have.
Well, yeah, now we're going to be seeing them everywhere all of a sudden. I mean, there are a lot of, ones, don't be giving everybody your love. I want it, like Roxanne, like I want to be your only one. You know?
That's right.
There are a lot of those, but those aren't one-night stand songs, but they could have been.
Yep.
And we'll be seeing them everywhere now because there are a lot of them.
There are so many, and I love rock and roll.
Yeah, you know,
I mean, come on, this is a kid screaming this song. I had no idea.
Yeah, I mean, Take You Home, Where We Can Be Alone.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't need to go there to rock and roll. They can do that right where they are with the record machine.
Depends on the kind of rock and roll they're trying to do.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yes, the alleged Alan Freed version.
Yes. Exactly.
She knows. She's
hip. I know. So, I don't know, just a little bit of fun. I liked the little theme. I thought it was interesting.
Hell yeah.
And there's a lot of songs about sex, but I like that it was specifically about one-night stands, which is very, very common. It happens. Casual sex, you know. So I say if you have more songs about one-night stands that you think should have made this discussion, let us know at bofonair@gmail.com. That's BOAF on air. And we may talk about it again. We will resurface the subject again.
We'll probably be wanting to flex and show off how our musical knowledge and historical knowledge by coming up with all the ones that, in the interim, that we feel terrible about.
Absolutely.
We loathe ourselves for not thinking of right off the cuff.
Correct.
Yep. Exactly
correct. Because I looked at this list briefly, but I thought I only had a couple, and I'm like, oh, no, I guess that doesn't really apply. But was I thinking of it wrong? Now, I assume I was.
Well, I'm shocked at some of the ones that I didn't think of that they did.
Yes.
I mean, The Heart, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You is one of the perfect ones.
I mean, it's right there. Again, a weird twist, but still, one-night stand.
There are so many. It creeps into everything.
It really does.
Now we're going to be seeing it everywhere, and probably the subject will come up again because
I think it will.
Those are fun things to think of a word, or to think of a subject of a song, or there was a feature, which I hope I edited out, good Lord, about trying to think of songs with a certain word, an obscure word.
Yes.
And once you do that, once you put it in your head, you like, okay, well, we're not going to play this game, but think about the word conscience. It occurred to me earlier. I heard a song with the word conscience, and I thought, that comes up in at least 4 or 5 songs I could think of right off the top of my head. You got anything leap to mind? Picture a singer singing Conscience.
My conscience is clear. I for some reason that came up, but I can't think of any songs now that I'm on the spot.
Does your conscience bother you? Tell me true. Sweet Home Alabama.
Shit.
But is it in your conscience that you're after another glimpse of the Madman Across the Water? Another glimpse of the Madman Across the Water. A couple of them occurred to me.
Look at all this association you're doing.
Yeah.
Damn.
A couple occurred to me, and I'm sure there are many others. But that's just a mental exercise, and do so in a similar way with this one-night stand thing, because I think let's just declare Kiss songs don't count outright.
They
because
can't. They're all
just be clogging up
songs.
Our email boxes.
That's right.
We don't need to hear about Room Service and Hotter Than Hell and all these. No, we don't need to hear those.
We got it. We totally got it.
Believe me, I'm there ahead of you.
As a lifelong fan, Kiss Army for life.
Kiss Army for life. Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about one-night stands and songs that we had no idea were about one-night stands, let's go listen to some of those songs and see if we can't get our secret decoder ring and figure this shit out. But until then, that only leaves for you to say,
But while you're doing all this exploratory research, just don't let your morals be corrupted, okay? And this is the point where I say, let's fly this coop.
This has been Birds of a Feather on What the Flock Radio.